Welcome back everyone for some Crowfall news. It's time to discuss how the Crowfall launch went, pros, cons, how their population numbers are hitting, how the first guild versus guild campaign's doing, and what to expect going forward. So, launch day for Crowfall for the first around 8 hours seemed to go eerily smooth, as a lot of players were very much expecting something to go absolutely wrong. There was up to 4,000 players in the servers at one time, and all of the God's Reach starting zones for leveling and starting the game were running completely smooth. So we weren't having any server issues at the beginning of the day for the first 8 hours. It was an overall amazing, unforgettable experience, seeing hundreds of new faces in God's Reach, tons of new guild tags, and I think overall, a lot of these new players coming into the game have found a very addicting, brand new MMORPG experience that they are not going to find in any other MMO coming out anytime soon. Around 8 hours into the day, I was actually streaming on the Crowfall game channel, and that's when they met their first server maintenance downtime. Crowfall servers were getting DDoSed, not completely unexpected, and their AWS partners were very quickly able to get the servers up and running within 4 hours. Crowfall had over 90 active zones spread out across all of their God's Reach servers, so they had very, very good server performance in my opinion for launch day, with over 4,000 people playing amongst them. They had very few zone crashes. I didn't experience any zone crashes. I only experienced the server maintenance downtime, and it was a very fluid experience. They released this founders update discussing a lot of these things. I will link this in the description below. They discuss how the first guild versus guild campaign was released. They talk about bigger issues moving forward, like client optimization, world zone limits, finding the fights, and overall, this is a good message from the developers and the executive producer Gordon Walton on their steps moving forward for Crowfall. So I'd make sure to take a look at this article if you guys are interested in the founders update from their team. Since launch, Crowfall has been able to hit return peak numbers of around 3,000 players. You can see these numbers in the Crowfall community Discord under the bot spam section. You can at the Malachi bot and ask for the population there if you are curious at seeing these numbers yourself. Now, the question that a lot of people have for this game will be, is the population big enough to keep supporting it, including the servers, the actual upkeep financially of the company? My answer would be absolutely yes. The servers and the game has a big enough population and a core player base to absolutely support itself. It's going to definitely keep running and growing from here on out, from what I can tell. However, I will say that I think the game has to aim for more population to keep feeling more dynamic. One of the best things about Crowfall is that each campaign can feel very dynamic, and they're always changing with lots of different options inside of each campaign. A problem Crowfall had in alpha and beta is that the politics within a campaign, so the alliances and the guilds that are fighting each other, would start to become stale, because you would go into a campaign and you would know what to expect, because you knew within the small player base that was present what alliances would be forged and who would be at the top and who would be at the bottom. Right now we have 1,200 people we can fit inside of one campaign world at a time right now. And if we have 3,000 players playing right now, at first glance, that would mean we can fill in 3 whole campaigns easily, right? But as of right now, all of those players are not actively playing inside of a campaign world. We're typically only seeing a couple of hundred, maybe up to 600, or a couple bit more than that, players inside of one Dregs campaign at a time. This causes, and will quickly cause, a feeling of stale politics, because a couple hundred players inside of one guild versus guild campaign is not enough. We need the full cap. We need to fit up to thousands of players inside the guild campaigns every day, if possible, to keep the feeling of dynamic politics in Crowfall. As I mentioned, Crowfall campaigns can feel so good because they are constantly changing, and that includes the dynamic worlds and politics involved inside those. If only the world is changing and not the politics are changing, then you start to see, obviously, one end of the game starting to feel more static. you want to have your campaign world feel dynamic with lots of different options. Overall, I think that the best option for Crowfall right now, because of launch, is they're fine with their current population, but if we were to shrink in population right now, we could end up with the same politics over and over, and we could start to feel that static gameplay that I'm mentioning. But as of right now, because of launch, Crowfall still feels plenty dynamic, and we have a lot of time to grow the population and enjoy the current dynamic feeling politics. The Dregs Guild vs. Guild campaign has kicked off with the US West, US East, and European servers. US East being the most populated, then US West, and then European. At the very beginning, they only had a US East and European server, but they quickly were seeing queue times and zone caps immediately get hit, so they opened up the US West server as well. But now, later in the campaign, we're quickly seeing that those zone caps are not as easily being reached, and maybe it would have been smart for them to maybe open a 10-zone, one campaign, combining all of the US population into one. Overall, right now, it's been fine. There's been lots of activity, plenty of fights within the zones inside the campaign worlds, but there would be definitely more competition and politics if the two servers were combined. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below for a chance at that Hunger Auroch mount giveaway again. And I appreciate you guys all making it to the end of the video. Hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys may be in the world right now, and I will see you later.